Good day everyone, I'm Waki Gutay, Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English. So for today's video, I'm going to discuss the continuation of the report by Miss Eloisa Grace Invention, which is the 8 stages of Erik Erikson's theory. Fifth stage, identity versus role confusion. The fifth stage of Erik Erikson's theory of psychosocial development is identity versus role confusion, and it occurs during adolescence from about 12 to 18 years. During this stage, adolescents search for a sense of self and personal identity through an intense exploration of personal values, beliefs, and goals. The identity versus role confusion or diffusion stage is characterized by the adolescent's question of who am I, during which time they are conflicted with dozens of values and ideas of who they should be and what they should think. Sixth stage is intimacy versus isolation. Intimacy versus isolation is the stage of Erik Erikson's theory of psychosocial development. This stage takes place during young adulthood, between the ages of approximately 18 to 40 years old. During this stage, the major conflict centers on forming intimate, loving relationships with other people. The major conflict at this stage of life centers on forming intimate, loving relationship with other people. Success at this stage leads to fulfilling relationships. Struggling at this stage, on the other hand, can result in feelings of loneliness and isolation. Intimacy, strong and deep romantic relationship, close relationship with friends and family, strong social support network. Isolation, poor romantic relationship and no deep intimacy, few or no relationship with friends and family, weak social support network. Seventh stage is generativity versus stagnation. Generativity versus stagnation is the seven of 8 stages of Erik Erikson's theory of psychosocial development. This stage takes place during middle adulthood, ages 40 to 65 years old. During this stage, middle-aged adults strive to create or nurture things that will outcast them, often by parenting children or fostering positive changes that benefit others. Contributing to society and doing things to promote future generations are important needs. The generativity versus stagnation of stage of development. Generativity refers to making your mark on the world by caring for others, as well as through creating and accomplishing things that make the world a better place. Key characteristics of generativity include developing relationship with family, making commitments to other people, mentoring others, contributing to the next generation. Stagnation refers to the failure to find a way to contribute. Stagnant individuals may feel disconnected or uninvolved with their community or with society as a whole. Some characteristics of stagnation include being self-centered or neuroticism, failing to get involved with others, not taking an interest in productivity, no efforts to improve the self, placing one's concern above all else. The 8th stage is the ego integrity versus despair. Ego integrity versus despair is the 8th and final stage of Erik Erikson's stage theory of psychosocial development. This stage begins at approximately age 65 and ends at death. It is during this time that we contemplate our accomplishments and can develop integrity if we see ourselves as leading a successful life. Erikson's theory suggests that the people pass through eight distinctive developmental stages as they grow and change through life. While many developmental theories tend to focus purely on childhood events, Erikson was one of the few theorists to look at development across the entire course of the lifespan. He was also one of the first to view the aging process itself as part of human development. Despair refers to looking back on life with feelings of regret, shame, or disappointment. Characteristics of despair included bitterness, regret, ruminating over mistakes, feeling that life was wasted, feeling unproductive, depression, hopelessness. Benefits of integrity. There are a number of benefits to successfully achieving feelings of integrity at this stage of life. These benefits include ego integrity. Successful resolving the crisis at this stage leads to development of what Erickson referred to as ego integrity. Peace and fulfillment, people are able to look back at their life with a sense of contentment and face the end of life with a sense of wisdom and no regrets. Wisdom. Erickson defined this wisdom as an informed and detached concern with life itself even in the face of death itself. In stage 1, trust versus mistrust, its psychosocial crisis is sensory maladjustments. Maladaptation is overtrusting, in malignancy is withdrawal, and for its virtue is hope. While in stage 2, autonomy versus shame, psychosocial crisis is the sense of self-control. Maladaptation is impulsiveness, doing things without a careful thought or plan. Malignancy is reluctant, hesitant to do things, and for its virtue is willpower or determination. And for the stage 3, initiatives versus guilt, psychosocial crisis is the guilt-ridden, repressed. Maladaptation is ruthlessness. Malignancy is inhibition, nothing ventured, nothing lost. And for its virtue is courage. Number 4, industry versus inferiority. Psychosocial crisis is the feeling of inadequacy. Maladaptation is narrow virtuosity. One is pushed into one area of competence without knowing his or her interests. Malignancy is inertia. If you don't succeed in the first try, don't even try it again. And for its virtue is competence. Number 5, identity versus role. Psychosocial crisis is the inability to fit in. Maladaptation is fanaticism, believes that his way is the only way. Malignancy is repudiation, reject their membership in the society and their need for an identity. And for its virtue is fidelity, the ability to live by the standards in their society. Number 6 is intimacy versus isolation. Psychosocial crisis is the fear of commitment. Maladaptation is promiscuity, becoming intimate too freely and too easily. Malignancy is exclusion, isolation of oneself from love, friendship, and community. And for its virtue is love. Number 7, generativity versus stagnation. Psychosocial crisis is the selfishness. Maladaptation is overextension. People that gives all their attention to others but don't have time for themselves to rest and relax. Malignancy is rejection, not participating in or contributing to society. And for its virtue is caring. And lastly, integrity versus despair. Psychosocial crisis is the censor of uselessness. Maladaptation is presumption, does not respect the view and ideas of the young. Malignancy is disdain, person is very negative and hates life. And for its virtue is wisdom. And for the conclusion, Erickson's theory has a good face validity. Many people find that they can relate to his theories about various stages of life cycle and through their own experiences. This theory also helps teachers to determine how to handle students and understand every different perspective.